Another helmet in the helicopter shot.
Morning. Oh, good afternoon.
It's good evening actually, Lance, but nice of you to make an appearance. It's been a fairly anonymous few days for the defending champion in this year's tour, but Lance Armstrong is finally about to get some face time, and for a good portion of it I suspect he's going to be gritting his teeth. Stage 4 is the team time trial. 69 kilometres of serial suffering as the 9-man teams, or in Rabobank's case the 7-man team, as they've lost 2 riders, power their way around the course at 5-minute intervals.
You know, you can have 9 of the strongest riders in the peloton, but if you don't work well and if you're not disciplined and you don't work very efficiently, you're not going to win the race and you're not going to ride fast. The most important thing is working in a cohesive unit, with a good flow. You know, the weaker riders take shorter pulls and the stronger riders take longer pulls. But that's about it. If you're not disciplined and the stronger riders are surging too much, it can really disrupt the flow of the team. And also when there's some crosswind, you have to be a little bit more careful and leave a little bit more room, because with a disc wheel on the back, the bike is not so stable. And there's very little talking with the teammates, but Bjarne Riis is behind in the car, speaking with us, telling us what to do. But you don't really have the time or the energy to talk yourself to the other riders. And, it's pretty much Bjarne Riis is leading the way.
And although this is a team event, it often has a big impact on the individual standings. In 1994, Chris Boardman's GAN team lost him the yellow jersey with a disastrous team time trial performance the day before he was due to carry it across the Channel to Great Britain. A couple of years earlier, Stephen Roach was eliminated from the race when he missed his start time, and the rest of his team set off without him. And 2 years ago, Christian van der Velde clipped a teammate's wheel and came off, forcing the team to wait and costing Lance Armstrong and US Postal the stage win. Actually, US Postal haven't won the team time trial since it was reintroduced 3 years ago, although they usually start as favourites, and they're definitely favourites today. They've got Armstrong, of course, possibly the best time trialist in the world, and he's got some pretty fast men in his supporting cast. The Russian, Vyacheslav Ekimov, is the reigning Olympic time trial champion and still capable of riding tempo for the team at the age of 37. Colombia's Victor Hugo Peña actually beat his boss by a second in the prologue, and he's held just about every Pan-American time trial record going. And then there's George Hincapie, a classic rouleur with one of the strongest engines in the team.
We know that it's a strong field. Every year is a strong field in Tour de France, and especially this year there's a lot of depth in the peloton. So we never take comfort in the fact that we are a very strong team. We know that it's going to be hard regardless. We know we've done our work and we've come prepared, and that's pretty much all we need to do is stay focused and be prepared for what's to come.
Well, this is what's to come. A 69-kilometre ride from Joinville to Saint-Dizier with what looks like a nasty little climb at the start, so no chance for teams to ease their way into an early rhythm. Now, here's how things stand going into the stage. Jean-Patrick Nazon is in yellow, but it'll take the ride of their lives for Jean de la Tour to keep him there. David Miller would be well poised to take yellow if Cofidis could only generate some sense of team unity, but Jan Ullrich's Bianchi team look better equipped to move him up from 6th place. As you can see, Victor Hugo Peña is 9th at the moment, 3 places up on his team leader. So if US Postal win the time trial, he'll be the one in yellow, not Lance Armstrong. Right behind Armstrong is Joseba Belocchi, who's on Team 1 this time trial last year. And Santiago Botero now riding for Telecom, of course, and they should be pretty strong too. Now, the start is in reverse order of team rankings, which is based on a team's top 3 riders. Jean de la Tour are off earliest of the teams we'll be keeping an eye on. Telecom a couple of slots later. David Miller and Cofidis follow, then it's Onse, and the last 3 teams to go will be FDJ.com, Bianchi and US Postal. Well, the Tour continues to get hotter, about 30 degrees today, although there was a bit of a breeze out on the course. Now, we pick it up with just Jan Ullrich's Bianchi team and US Postal left to start. Only 4 teams have finished, and the best place of those is Fassa Bortolo, who are in with a time of 1 hour, 20 minutes and 20 seconds. Let's join commentary.
And here we go. Heras rolls away as they go from the inside, coming along. Heras looks along now. What they do is they slot into their start order. Now, Will a member of US Postal have a yellow jersey tonight? If they set the best time, then it will be Victor Hugo Peña, and he would become the first ever Colombian cyclist to wear a yellow jersey. And I'll tell you what, Lance Armstrong would then be up into second place with a teammate in the lead. That's if they do the best time. Well, we've left them because our French director wants to show you the arrival of the Maillot Jaune. A big round of applause as he comes in. Jean-Patrick Nazon, 1:22.04 for the team, only the 5th best time, and certainly out of the yellow jersey today. It's only a question to decide now, Paul, as to where that jersey will go tonight. We're now moved across here to the US Postal team, the last team on the road. Now, this wasn't by coincidence, because in the prologue time trial last Saturday in Paris, Lance Armstrong instructed all of the riders to give it their best shot, because he wanted to get time that would give them the lead in the team race, and the time taken for the team race on 3 top riders each day, because that meant he would start in the last position in the team time trial, so he can keep an eye on everybody. The arrival of Team Telecom, and this is going to be tight, but it might be the best time, but I'm not so sure anymore. Led in by Eric Zabel there, the champion of Germany. Team Telecom, Guerini is also riding hard, but it's going to slip away. It's going to be a sprint to the line. Clock will stop on the 5th man over it, and it's going to be really close. A big effort by the top sprinter, and they just do it. 1:19.57. Iben Esther. Now this should be a new time on the leaderboard, Paul. Telecom had a great last half to the race, and it looks as though Iben Esther, though, have kept all the pressure. This is going to be the best time. Telecom dipped halfway through, came back fighting strongly. Currently in with 1:19.57, but I think Iben Esther, as Flecker applies the pressure at the front, you can probably hear the manager shouting as he drives them through. It's not going to be a big beating of Team Telecom, but for these boys, this is going to be a very good result.
I tell you what, this takes me back to the times of Perico Delgado and Miguel Indurain, when this team had to try and come out and perform well to win the Tour de France. They've got 2 great bike riders.
There we are. Here is now Team Bianchi. Here they are. And remember, we're looking here at the rider Jan Ullrich on his big fight back here on a new team. He's never finished a Tour de France lower than 2nd, and he's won it once, and he is the one man that Lance Armstrong fears if he can find his old form.
Confirmation as we get from the computer. It's rather interesting to see Team Telecom have got themselves the fastest time at the first time check. Armstrong's team a lowly 7th place at that point, but just ahead by 2 seconds of Team Bianchi of Jan Ullrich. It's very important today for Jan Ullrich and his team to show that they have got the strength and depth to possibly challenge Lance Armstrong in the last week of racing here. I think Jan Ullrich will improve as the race goes by now. Going back to the intermediary point at Montier-en-Der, this is a chance to see just how well Team Once are doing. This team over the last few years have really been the specialists at the Tour de France, and it looks as if they have accelerated, Phil. After a slow start, we're going to get a new best time at 44 kilometers covered, and it will be the team who won last year. The US Postal Service were beaten by this team, the Once team of Spain. So Once arrive at the 44.5 kilometer point. They're sprinting now to top the leaderboard and bring back the reputation. They are the experts at the team time trial. I'm not so sure they're going to get there in the next 10 seconds. Yes, they've gone through just inside 51 minutes. 50.59. Once now setting the trend. So we swung to the finish to see the arrival now of CSC. They were a little bit off the best time at the previous checks. I don't think we can expect a great ride now by this team, but they brought them injured team leader to the finish today. There's no point in this rider going clear of the field because the clock won't stop until the 5th man crosses the line, so they may as well wait. That's why the riders are fanned out and on the line. 1:20.12, not bad. 5th at the moment after that. And here comes Française des Jeux. The little rainbow colours on the far jersey there is of a world champion, Bradley McGee, now back in his normal strip, having handed his yellow jersey over to Jean-Patrick Nazon. Now they've completely thrown this one away, Paul.
They've kept the team together, but look at the time, 18th now and slipping away.
Well, I think this is a tactic they've decided. They've had a brilliant start to the Tour de France. They know they're not going to rival the big teams. They did not want to eliminate their partner, Jimmy Casper, who had a dramatic crash on the first day. He's battled to stay in the bike race. So I think maybe they said, well, OK, that's the end of our challenge in the overall race right now. Let's keep ourselves together. There's a lot of good fighting days to come.
As we're now looking at the US Postal Service squad, still heading out. Bianchi then will be the next team through at 44 kilometers, and then will come US Postal. Here comes Bianchi, they'll be the next team through, and then this will give us some indication. They were running 2 seconds slower than US Postal at the first check, so this will be interesting, Paul.
It's going to be very interesting indeed, because the time to beat is that of Onse, 50.59, and in fact Team Bianchi are threatening to come through there very close to the time of Onse, but they're not going to do it this time. But they still have a lot of strong bike riders, and there's a big possibility that they could accelerate towards the end. Second place for Team Bianchi, in fact dropping down to third there. It's a long way to the clock stops at this intermediary time point. There's Jan Ullrich just on the left-hand side. What a picture of concentration. This man surrounded by his team, the team that he hopes will, in the next 2.5 weeks of bike racing, make him a challenger to Lance Armstrong's superiority.
They are coming in to set the new mark here. Now, the only team who has improved quite as much as they have is US Postal, up to second fastest behind Onse at 44 kilometers. This is the 69-kilometer checkpoint now for Onse, as they continue to run best time at all of these checkpoints out on the course. They just need the confirmation now. As they get through to the finish, it will be a new best time, because they were 18 seconds quicker than Ibanesto at the last time check of the day, 6 miles back. So I think that Manolo Sainz has really done the trick again with these boys. Only US Postal, it seems now, have got the power that might topple Onse. There are arch rivals in the team time trial. Onse, these last 3 years, have either won or finished second, and I think they're going to do the same again now. On the line, Paul, yes, 1:18.57. Now, look at this. We've just gone through in 1:7.27, Paul. It is the best time over Onse by 17 seconds. Now, we never saw that time check until then.
Well, that really is remarkable. That will go straight into the earpieces of the US Postal Service team. You can imagine Johan Brunel must be going absolutely ballistic right now, because he has just heard that his team has gone through the 59-kilometer checkpoint with the fastest time so far. They are closing in on Jan Ullrich's team, Team Bianchi, who look good themselves, but it could well be all for one, one for all towards the end, because US Postal still have their 9 men, and Ullrich, I think, has just got that information himself. He's gone to the front. He is the captain of the ship. He's picking up the pace. He'll do long turns towards the end now. He will do everything he can to keep the team in with the chance of winning this stage. But what a comeback for Jan Ullrich, and what a great comeback to the top of the sport for Team Bianchi. But these are the boys at the moment waving the flag. They still dare not panic, though, because they've still got around about 10 kilometers to go. That's 6 miles. Should take them not very much more than 12 minutes. Victor Hugo Peña, well, that's a name that, if they do stay in front, will become the first name from Colombia to have a yellow jersey on his shoulders. And I'll tell you one thing, the first man who is going to congratulate him will be the man who wears number 1, Lance Armstrong, his teammate for this year. Here is Team Bianchi now getting towards the finish. This is the time they need to beat. This is the big battle now, starting to set up the battle that we predicted before the start of the tour. It could very well go down to an Armstrong-Ullrich battle against in the big mountain passes.
Well, the big man is back anyway. He's come from deep in the depths at the first check now to challenge for the lead here. Team Bianchi to Bianchi. They won't get to the Onse time, but they might well arrive with second best till US Postal finishes it off. And as they come off that final bend, it's so nice to see this colour, which used to be on the shoulders of the great Fausto Coppi. Now it's on the shoulders of the great Jan Ullrich. There he is, on the front, powering away. He knows he's running close to the leaderboard. Second place for the moment, 52 kilometres now, 1:19.10. Postal could well be sitting in first. They're aiming for 1 hour, 18 minutes and anything less than 57 seconds.
Well, the time right now on the finish line clock is 1 hour, 16 minutes and 58 seconds, and these boys are absolutely hammering. They know what the time to beat is. They will in fact have it in their helmets right now. It will come from their man in the team car, Johan Bruneel, the winner at one stage of the fastest ever road stage of the Tour de France, a brilliant tactician, and I think he's the man who went to the boys this morning and said, take it easy over the first few kilometres, but there's now just 1 kilometre to go, 1,000 metres.
And these riders should accomplish that between 59 and 61 seconds, and that will give them an emphatic victory margin. They might even shed 1 or 2 riders here, but I've got a feeling this team has got a pack going. They're all going to come home together, even though the clock will seek out the 5th man for when it stops.
There's the time they want to beat, 1:18:57, Yaroslav Ekinov, nicknamed Slava.
They're smiling.
On the front.
They're almost smiling. They know
they've got it. This is remarkable. Landis, Phil, I didn't think he'd be at the Tour de France this year, but he's still with the boys.
This is an exhibition. They've come from the back, built up their speed all the way. There is Lance Armstrong up into 2nd place in the Tour de France tonight. He'll be the first off his bike to congratulate Victor Hugo Peña, because he overnight is the highest place to this team. He will be the next yellow jersey in this Tour. He is Colombian, and no Colombian has ever led this race in 100 years. As they come to the line now, watch the clock. It's the best time. Pete Cappy's mixing it at the front. He waves. There you go. 1:18:27. That was a superb demonstration.
Absolutely remarkable, Phil. That is incredible. They've really done the superb time that they wanted to do. They've dreamed about this since back in the year 2000 when they finished 2nd. Big Pavel Padronos on the front here. He was brought into the team specifically for the team time trial, specifically for the flat stages. Roberto Heras, I would think, cannot believe this. And Ekimov, hand in the air, the winner of the Olympic Games in 2000, now with the team, the winner of the team time trial here at the Tour de France. And with that, a brand new yellow jersey.
So there's the result. US Postal with a clear half-minute on the next quickest finishers, Joseba Bolocchi's Once team, with Jan Ullrich and Bianchi another 13 seconds behind them. David Miller's Cofidis teammates held him back. He and they finished over 2 minutes down. Well, Victor Hugo Peña may be the best placed US Postal rider in the classification, but not on the podium. Lance Armstrong wasn't conceding the top step for the stage win presentation, although he did sound genuinely pleased afterwards when he spoke to Ned.
Congratulations, you're coming to the fore. Great team performance.
I say so. I mean, the team was. We started with 9, we finished with 9. Everybody really did their job. I mean, we designated 5 guys to sort of carry the team, and they did that. And 2 guys that were sort of our wild cards who really came through. And Manuel and Roberto, you know, they never missed a pull. So for our 2 climbers, it was special as well. So perfect.
And how does it feel for the US Posties to be top of the tree, but for you not to be in the yellow jersey for a change?
Oh, you know, that's not a problem at all. I mean, it's we wanted to win, and we felt like we deserved to win. We felt like we had the best team, and we felt like we've you know, sort of not ridden our best the last few years. So to win is a real satisfying feeling.
And it said, as you crossed the line, it looked like you said to Victor Hugo, "Go on, you enjoy it."
I mean, the whole day, the whole ride, I kept telling him, you know, because sometimes people have bad patches, and I just say, "Hey, Victor, you know, which jersey do you want at the finish line?" And he was super.
Well, other Colombians have won stages and the King of the Mountains competition, but none of them has ever worn the yellow jersey. Victor Hugo Peña has now, and he told Matt Randall how it felt.
Victor Hugo, llegando a la línea, Lance te dijo algo.
Desde 20 kilómetros antes me decía que necesitaba lo máximo de mí porque quería verme de amarillo y quería finalmente ver el equipo ganando una crono por equipos.
Qué felicidad, ¿cómo puedes calificar este momento?
Quisiera estar en mi país ahora mirando, siendo parte de aquellos que se paraban en las vitrinas a mirar televisión para ver a Lucho Herrera, a Fabio Parra anteriormente, y que ahora pues espero que me hayan estado mirando a mí también.
Aquí hay otros colombianos que de pronto pueden luchar para un lugar entre los primeros 10. ¿Usted no?
Yo estoy para luchar para que el mejor ciclista del mundo finalmente consiga su 5º título del Tour.
So the standings tonight are radically altered, as they always are after team time trials. The top 8 places all taken by US postal riders. The first non-postie is Joseba Belocchi in 9th, with Jan Ullrich now 12th, 38 seconds behind Lance Armstrong. Santiago Botero now a minute and a half down, with Tyler Hamilton at 1:45 and David Miller 2 minutes back in 56th. After his team's poor ride,